everyone. Thank you for joining us for another tech demo with the Social Intelligence Lab. I'm not Jillian, if you can't tell. Jillian is very busy in LA preparing for Observe Summit. If you don't know what that is, head to our website, and we still have some tickets left, maybe a discount here and there. Get in touch with us if you want to know more. We're very happy to have YouScan join us today. But before that, we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping. Say hello in the chat. Let me know where you're watching us from, your name, your country, your city. I see Martin is typing. Hey, Jillian. Hello, Abel from Tampa. Hey, Martin. And from DC, welcome. Let's do a little bit of housekeeping. I don't want to steal YouScan's time. So before we start, I'm Priscilla Silva, Operations Manager here at the Social Intelligence Lab. This session is being recorded. It'll be edited and shared on our website with you for you to rewatch and share. Get your questions ready, your Q&A in the chat. We'll be moderating that. If you have any technical issues, if I disappear, please stay. Sometimes the internet connection can be a little bit fibbity, so please stay. Another very important detail, this is an educational demo, educational forum only, so no sales or promotions. If you do write a message trying to sell something, we will remove that message and we might have to remove you from the session, so please respect the rules. The Social Intelligence Lab, if you haven't heard anything about the Social Intelligence Lab, this is a community founded by Dr. Jillian Me. It started from a place of working in isolation where she thought she was the only one working with social data. So she began this community and it has grown. It's a global home for everyone that analyzes social and internet data. Our sponsor today is YouScan. They are an easy-to-use social media listening platform trusted by over 400 major brands and agencies worldwide. It employs AI to help social intelligence experts, researchers, and marketers analyze consumer opinions and get rapid market insights from millions of online conversations. Without any further ado, let me bring on the stage Celia and Lina, so they can introduce themselves. Oh, there's Celia. Hi, Celia.
Hi, Priscilla. Hi, Celia.
Hi, welcome to our stage. I'm going to let you introduce yourselves. Do you want me to keep the slide here or just remove it?
And then... I'll steal the slides from you and let's head over straight into our deck and you can see our faces even bigger than what you guys have got here.
Okay, cool. I'll remove it and I will move myself. I'll be in the background. Good luck.
Thank you. So I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Lina. I'm Customer Success Lead and Manager at YouScan, and I'm sending you greetings from Kyiv today. I would like to give you a little bit of context on YouScan after Priscilla's presentation. So YouScan is an AI-powered social media intelligence platform that helps brands and agencies to monitor, analyze, and understand online conversations within contextual and cultural dimensions that we will be talking today about. And I would say the differentiation of our tool on the market is that we use advanced image recognition and natural language processing that enables businesses actually to gain actionable insights from millions of social media conversations that help them to protect a brand's reputation, enhance customer experience, and uncover consumer insights for their business decisions. And I'm today here with Celia from OgilvyUK, and I will let her speak now so that she could introduce herself as well and her team.
Thanks, Lina. Yes, I'm not from YouScan. I am from Ogilvy, but the amount that I bang on about YouScan internally and externally, I probably should be at this point. But I head up social and contextual intelligence at Ogilvy, coming up to about 2 years there now, but have always worked in social or social media data, I should say. One of my biggest things that we did when I first joined here at Ogilvy was changing the way that we think about social data, and that was the addition of our contextual side here that we have added in. I hate the fact that people come to us and think social listening or social media data is only for social strategies. It's much wider. And I think this will help a lot of people who don't understand what I mean when I say that kind of start to get that point.
Cool. Thank you so much for introducing all the stuff that you're focusing on. And I just would like to remind people today that are listening to us that we have chat. We have chat with questions also, so feel free to share them. I will be checking the chat during the presentation, and in the end of our talk, we will actually cover all the questions that you share in the chat. So feel free to do that. And now I guess we can discuss actually the case, Celia, that you worked out with YouScan. And I would like to actually ask you the first question that I have for this presentation. What was the main idea and hypothesis behind the analysis that you conducted with YouScan? To give more context to the people who listen to us, like what was basically their initial perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. So I can't disclose who this piece of work was for, but it was basically competitor analysis, launching and wanting to be a big part of culture and using competitors that it could see were playing a big part in culture. What were they doing? How were they showing up? And actually, how embedded were they physically into that? So the case that I'm going to present today is a little segment of a bigger piece of work that came in from YouScan as well, from how they were sitting in the market currently, and also feeding in some other tools. But the biggest and the main competitor here was Aperol for them. So I don't think I can need to tell anyone here that Aperol is a big player, and you can see how much they are out there in the market, but actually being able to quantify that was quite difficult to come through, particularly when we're talking about traditional text-based social listening. So it was mainly, how do we use YouScan to get beyond those limitations that you get with text-based platforms?
Cool. Thank you so much. And I think it will be super important to talk about the methodology that you did apply in this case, that you did implement within the monitoring tool, because in most cases, like everything actually starts from the hypothesis methodology. And I think that people who are listening to us, they would like to know like which one you applied to carry out the analysis and how did YouScan help you to shape it?
Absolutely. Let me take you through what we did, because I think we probably show you perfectly here how we managed to get to that. So as I mentioned, the big question is, how embedded into culture is Aperol? Now, we know culture is really hard to quantify, right? Because it can be bars, it can be drinking, it can be theatre, it can be art, it could be what's trending on TikTok, it could be what happened on Traitors last night and how is that, playing out. But we know that using social listening, we can start to get an idea of that. So this is where we started. And we looked through and we can see Aperol is massively part of all of these different areas. This is what we could see was coming through. So clearly embedded into what is going on in culture there, from making you that girl through to birthday parties and celebrations, or just summer holiday moments. But how can you actually show that from a quantitative perspective is really difficult to get to, because quite often it's just in the back of images, or it's referenced alongside a craft or something like that. So how do we actually take that and move forward to be able to get a physical quantitative piece of work alongside all of this amazing qual stuff that we can bring through? We had to decide what the most distinctive quality we could use here was to be able to bring it through. Now, I'm sure from sitting and looking at all of this here, you can start to see what the distinctive quality is. It's colour. And that is actually not just because of the colour itself, but how people are using it stylistically as well. To be able to capture a lot of that, you need to start to focus on the colour. So YouScan has got a very powerful piece of kit to be able to bring through, which enabled us to see how much of orange content online, so anytime the colour orange is used across social blogs and forums, how much of that can be attributed to Aperol. So I'll take you through a little bit of how we did this. This is the YouScan interface, and then using their visual insights, we can do image, colour, and then pick the colour orange. And that will run a search, just as I said, across everything that you would normally get, and pull back anytime orange is being used. From artwork, foods, golden hour shots, even through to just selfies with filters on, you can start to see this size that we can pull through here for the colour and the use of orange. So within all of that, we can then go through and search physically for mentions of Aperol, but it's not just text-based again. We can be able to pull through yes, all the captions you can for traditional social listening, but also from images. So here is an example of it coming up in this one. And then you can also get the logos, you can get mentions overlaid in text. You can also get the next one, which I think is the coolest, which is in spoken word. So you're not having to mention it. Here is a transcript. And as you go through, you can see that it's not mentioned anywhere down here in the caption. And as the video progresses, unfortunately, the sound isn't working on this one. But as the video progresses, you can start to see those bits where Aperol is coming through. So it's there. And then when she's talking about having it alongside her meal and enjoying it, that's all captured alongside our traditional text-based social listening. So it means that we're capturing moments that we would just never be able to see before.
It's actually a very creative way of using the tool, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a weird and wonderful one. It's definitely out of the box. So just to recap the ways that we can capture mentions of Aperol. Logo. So here you can see there is an image of an Aperol Spritz glass that has a logo on it. You can have text and image. So the one here is from Pinterest. So it's mentioned just in the visual. Use traditional caption mention. And then down on the left-hand side is the transcript. So that transcript appears in the system as though it is just another text mention, but it's actually just the transcript from the video. In this case, it's YouTube. In the previous one, it was TikTok.
Wow, that's super interesting. And now it's also interesting to know, like, what are the implications of the analysis that you conducted? So which actually conclusions did you get from it?
Yes. So this is it. We start to now be able to build up a picture of all of that. So we have all of those mentions of orange. We can then go into that and say how much were Aperol mentioned. So it's about 0.01%, which seems really tiny, right? And that means nothing without any kind of context. So we're starting to build a picture now where we've got all of the qual data. We've got a little bit of the quant data for who we're trying to reach, but the next level is being able to add context to that so we can show they really are that embedded into culture. So we can start to compare. Who are the biggest names in orange? Nickelodeon jumped out to me. Fanta as well. And now we can start to see that they're actually on par with that. So we have our quantitative data that can say, actually, they are so embedded into culture that they own 0.01% of all orange use across the internet. And that's on par with the likes of Fanta, Nickelodeon. And it really leverages the qual, all of that together that we often need to be able to support our insights on where we want to go next.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a very quick run through, and I think it's a very out there use case for this kind of research. I don't think you see it very often done in this way. It's almost doing it backwards and then forwards. And I think that's a lot of what YouScan enables you to do, is think outside of the box with a lot of the stuff you can get to.
Yeah, you are right here. I think it's a very unusual case of how you can apply basically visual analysis and thinking out of the box, as you said.
Oh, sorry, Lina, you're cutting out slightly here.
Sorry, it was just my computer. I'm sorry for technical issues. Yeah, I was telling that it's actually a very creative way of how you can approach the task that you have, and it might be that you even don't think about the color itself when you first get the brief. Yeah, but then you remember that you have like advanced features which you can apply, and you get actually a very nice result here to present and quantify, which actually is the biggest issue usually, how you can quantify conversation. Well, I see that we have a comment from Betty that it's a very interesting approach. I agree with you here on decoding culture and social listening context. Love the color. Let's see, maybe we have any other questions. We have another one from Anna, actually. What's your favorite approach to working with visual data in your daily routine? Celia, I think this one goes for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what, Anna? It's become so second nature to us now that it's really hard to say what's the best part of it, because YouScan makes it so easy that it is just there presented alongside everything. It's never really sectioned out like that, which is exactly what we want. We want to be able to see all of it together, and we want it in that nice one big package. I will say, side note to that, one of my coolest things I think, beside this colour thing that we've managed to do, is researching the skincare category and being able to use visual insights there. And what we did was, yes, you've got all of your long list of SPF and sun creams and serums, whatever, big long list of that. But what we actually started doing was using the image searches to get cream and skin used together, so that you're capturing people putting creams onto their skin. Now, there was a lot of exclusions, as you can imagine. We all work with social data. You can imagine what that kind of stuff pulled up, but it captured so much more that we would have missed if it wasn't there.
Yeah, it's true, actually. I think it's super powerful when you avoid applying keywords and you actually focus on consumption itself, and you can see how it works, how it moves on social media. We actually have another question. Do you know of a way to listen to YouTube comments? We use relevantcomments.com, but it's a workaround. It's meant for creators, not marketers, social listening, but still works fine. Know of anything more use case specific? Well, actually, we have a possibility to listen to comments at YouScan as well, Hans. So I would suggest you to try maybe our tool for that. But I would still give here space to Celia to cover the question. Maybe she has some other recommendations.
I don't, and we're really excited about you launching the comments and getting a part of that. So yeah, we don't, but I can understand exactly how valuable that is. We usually do it manually, to be honest with you, but particularly in the use case when we're talking about influencer identification and importance, it's really useful to be able to look in comments to see how they're actually engaging with their audiences, and that can start to build a picture of whether they're feel authentic or not. So yeah, we're super excited to be able to get onto that feature. But we don't use anything currently that's more snazzy than doing it manual.
Cool. Well, we have another question from Abel. Is your data real time? Yeah, I would say that the data collection works pretty close to real time. But still, if you would like to run such analysis as the ones that Celia mentioned today, I still would suggest to focus on historical data, because sometimes, like even comparing the data that you collect within this month, for example, or this week, to the ones that you had even a year ago, could give you some additional insights on the scope of conversation. So maybe this approach could also be helpful. And at YouScan, we actually have a pretty nice historical period that you can collect. We have up to 5 years of data. So it usually brings you like lots of insights on consumption or other types of projects. We have another question from Betty. Have you considered commercial semiotic approaches to add to that social media project? I guess it's about the one that we covered with Apparel today.
Yeah, we haven't. I'd love to hear more about how you would go about that, though.
Okay, and we have another comment from Martin Miliev. YouScan is really useful to exclude visuals too. Really comes in handy with brands that match pet names. Yeah, I suppose you can also apply it for that, because as a filters, the visual filters you can include or exclude, and you can do it either on the level of their configuration or even within the results that you actually have collected. And now, Celia, whether you want maybe to add here something.
No, I would say exactly the same. I think there's a load of different ways you can use the visual. And I think we've been with you guys now since the start of this year, and I'm learning something new every time I go into the platform. And it really does bring through that creativity that I think quite often you can feel like you're lacking in some of the more traditional tools, that you can think about this in a lot of a different way. And you're broadening beyond, how does somebody talk about this, to like, how does somebody post about this? How does the whole image, the content all together feel?
Yeah, how they think when they post something, what is the idea behind it, and then how can I capture it? That's usually the question that I also have in mind when I try to help clients with some setup. And actually, I can tell that I'm still learning too. I've been working at YouScan for several years so far, but every day I'm learning something new, trust me. So this is a very common thing. about the platform. We have another question from Cecilia. How are you getting the videos into the tool? How does the setup work behind the scenes? Actually, like you can filter the content type on the level of configuration, because for that we have advanced filters. So if you want just to focus on videos, you can program it on the level of query. For that we have specific operator, because our tool works based on Boolean operators as a major part of the tools on the market, actually. And then you collect the thumbnails of the videos so that you can actually check by clicking on the link that we provide you with, and then you can just check the video itself in the original source. The setup doesn't look very difficult, to be honest. And actually, if you start working with YouScan and have some difficulties, you can also reach out to customer success manager or the support team. We are always there to help you with the setup or provide you with some tips. And maybe Celia, you want to add something here on videos. Did you have any project where I just collected videos?
I don't actually think we do. That would be project only, though I know that some of my team are listening and they're going to kick me afterwards and go, actually, do you not remember that one? So no, I don't. But I do wonder if Cecile means here more about how your data scraping process on how you pull through the data physically into YouScan.
Well, there are like lots of methods how we collect data. It can be basically their official APIs. It can be some data that comes from providers. It's basically the technical side. And as every tool, we have there some secrets that we actually don't share. Also, it can be commercial information. But like still, if you want to know more details about like specific sources, feel free to reach out to us, and we can provide you with details.
I will add to that sources point, actually. This was another big major part of us getting on board with YouScan was everybody, and I'm sure everybody here has this, asking us about TikTok constantly. And that was a big part of it for me. But actually, you have to have the video transcripts in there to be able to use it. Otherwise, TikTok, you're still only getting a small portion of it, because people sometimes don't even use captions. So that was it. We were then very pleasantly surprised when we got in and there was the like of Twitch and stuff like that. We're still using YouScan, as I say, every day, and finding new tools, new channels that we didn't know existed that actually are really important to more niche projects. Twitch, for instance, when we're trying to look into more younger side of any kind of research for our clients, comes up massively. So yeah, I would say that it's really powerful in terms of the sources point of view.
Well, we have actually another comment from Costa here. The webinar is called Visual Listening. How about videos that only show upper roll in one part of the video and don't mention upper roll in the description? Are all those also captured? So if we talk about actually visual monitoring that our tool can do, here the caption will be mostly focused on the thumbnail of the video. And it's super important that it has upper roll on the image that accompanies the video. If you have a case where you need to cover specific parts of the video, so we can also like check them together, because it is basically another type of project. But while we are discussing here like visual insights, the functionality behind it focuses mostly on capturing data mentions on thumbnails and images. Well, I don't see any other question. Maybe they will be coming up in the following minutes. And we still have, I think that like around 5 minutes left to cover some additional ones. So guys, feel free to share them. I suggest, Celia, we wait maybe for the last question from Abel here. How are you able to get your data from TikTok? Well, Abel, in such case, actually, if you have so many detailed questions on data collection, I suggest maybe you can reach out to us and we discuss it together. Because for this specific question, we have several methods of how we collect this data, and some of this data comes from our providers. Yeah, we will be waiting for you for sure. Thank you. Well, I see that we don't have any other questions in the chat, Celia, so I think maybe we could stop here. It was actually a pleasure covering this case with you today. I think it's pretty insightful. It was insightful even for me when I was discussing it with you. So I believe it was a great session, and I really hope that people that were listening to us today enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to participating in other chats with you in the future.
Amazing. And yeah, and if anybody has any other questions about the work, reach out to me on LinkedIn, and yeah, feel free to ask us anything more, or any of the other ways that we're using YouScan as well. And next time I'll be sure to get commission from you, Lina, for doing all of this for you, because we are constantly ranting on about how great you guys are. But I would definitely employ anybody to go and have a look at YouScan, because it really is quite powerful just to change and take you out of just that text-based monitoring.
Yeah, for
This
sure.
is really great. Thank you. And I would add to that, because I have worked with YouScan in the past as well. They have the best, friendliest customer service ever. So
And
I always mention that whenever we have YouScan join us. Thank you so much. I have a question just out of curiosity. What would you say are always the top 3, 5 sources that you get when you're just looking for visual data?
Yeah, I
Just
would
the
be.
normal.
This is what, do you know what, even if we're looking not even just visual, I am so happy each time I go into YouScan and I look at the source chart and it's not Twitter. And that, I think we can all feel here, is like one of those, when you're talking about social listening, that you get to that point in your career when you're like, is this social listening or is this Twitter listening? There's a very
Yeah.
big difference. But I would say the top ones that we do get is TikTok, Instagram as well, although there are some parameters around that because of restrictions that they set, and YouScan, and YouTube.
YouTube. Okay. Great. Well, Martin is, I don't know if you guys still use X.
No, unless we're trying to find pros and politics, although there is a really big book talk community on X, but yeah, no, we don't. We try and avoid it like the plague.
I always found that with X, whenever you remove the bots, you lose like half the data these days. It's just flooded with bots. Well, thank you so much. This is a great session. Thank you to everyone that joined. You will get an email with a contact information where you can reach out to YouScan and ask any other questions that you might have, or maybe ask for a demo from them. Thank you, Celia. Thank you, Lina. Thank you, everyone. And I'll see you, some of you, hopefully in LA next week. Or if not, I'll see you in the next tech demo. Bye.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.